So this is a reversal trade I took today, and it is off of this resistance level. It's already started to really move in our favor. And if we can actually punch through the support level down here, it is going to make a lot of money. We're already up about $300 on this trade, and it's looking like it's got a lot of momentum in my direction. But before we get to that trade, I want to walk you through a couple of other of my day trades that I took. Now, this one right here, we got in because, well, first off, we are at a resistance level, and we have made a nice push up and then another push up here. And so I like to get in on that essentially double top right there. And once I get in on that, I look to see that the market is going to swing back lower in our favor. Now, I think this trade has a lot of potential because we have had actually two really strong spikes up. And when the market moves up quickly like that, it has a really good chance that if it gives that back up, it's going to push all the way back lower. Another big factor here is that this is what I like to call a failed breakout. The market has actually broken out of our resistance zone up here and the previous high, and a lot of breakout traders like to get in based on that. They think that, oh, the market's broken out of the high here, and they want to buy and get in thinking that the market is going to punch even higher and the trend's going to continue up. But once you see this failure back in, that is actually going to trap those traders, because if you actually get long here and it comes back on you, you're probably going to have your stop somewhere down here. Now that the market has actually started to punch lower and made a pullback, I like to move my stops down with the swings as the market moves lower, because in the end, I don't know what the market's going to do. You know, it could go all the way down here. That'd be awesome. But I don't want to risk it coming down here, chopping around, and then coming back, right? We want to capture profits as the market moves lower. And so as the market has made another pullback right here, I'm going to move my stop down with it, assuming that the market's going to be continuing like this. Now, if it breaks this and goes up, it could start trending higher, and I want to capture some of these profits that we've made, because I don't want to just let the market swing all the way back against me if it knocks me out. But if the market does knock you out, that's totally okay. Take your small win and just move on to the next one. As a trader, you just need to go with what the market gives you. Sometimes you're going to be able to capture a whole swing, and other times you're just going to be able to get a little scalp out of that swing. Either way, the goal is to be profitable in the long run. Now that we have actually come down and tested the lows and the support zone we can look for buying signals now off of these levels. Now, my reason to get in long here and buy is that we have a downtrending level here. It's broken, and then it's come down and made a double bottom here essentially. And then I like to see this big bull bar here is actually my signal to get in. And then I just jump in, put my stop below this previous swing that we've made, because that's where the market found support. And then I just look to let this market swing back up and see where it goes. Now, seeing that the market has been pretty choppy back here, it's probably likely that we find some resistance up here in this area. You know, maybe with a bit of luck, it'll punch even higher. But because of that, you want to trail up your stop pretty quickly. It starts going pretty quickly in our favor. Up here, we can draw a really tight trend line. I'm going to move my stop to break even now because it has moved in our favor. And now that it's had this pullback, I want to move my stop up below that, because if the market keeps going like this, great. But if it comes back down here and knocks us out, that's totally okay. Now, these last two trades were actually pretty clear cut and easy to get in. And the next trade was actually really kind of complicated. I messed up my stop and had to play with the market a little. Now, before we get into that, some quick nuts and bolts of what I do is I am trading the MES futures. And what this allows me to do is start with a really small account and scale up with that. And all I do for my trading is I focus on what the chart is telling me. I don't use any indicators. All I look at is where the price movement is going. And based on that, I draw support and resistance levels. And then off of those levels, I look to either buy off the support levels or sell off of the resistance levels. And what this does is it allows me to have low risk and high reward trades. And so I can make really good return on my trades. And so I don't have to be right all that often to consistently make money in the long run. And so my support and resistance levels, all I do is draw them off a 15-minute chart. I look to see where the market has something like a double top, and then when the market comes back up and tests that level, I look to take a short off of that level and bet that the market is going to go lower. And so I can get some really good trades, and this makes it so these levels are high probability levels because they are drawn off of a larger time frame chart. And so this trade right here is exactly based off of one of those levels. We have our support level down here, and then we just go to a 1 minute chart and we look for a signal to get long. And here the signal is seeing the market come down, it's chopped a little bit, and then it's broken out, and we're going to look to buy once it breaks out of this little zone right here. And so you can see that's exactly where I got long, and then we'll see what the market does. As the market actually has a pullback, I am going to move my stop up so that I can capture some of those profits and reduce my risk if the market decides to keep trending down. Now in hindsight, I would say I made a little bit of a mistake here moving my stop up so quickly. Sometimes the market does like to have a little bit larger of a pullback, and I don't think these pullbacks necessarily are a bad signal in terms of the market going back up, but because I moved my stop here to break even, it's actually going to have one of those deeper pullbacks and knock me out. And that is frustrating because I got out of a trade when I really should have kept my stop here and not moved it up so quickly. But once we see a potential another signal to get in, we can get back in. And in the end, the market, I saw that it bounced here and made a nice bullish move. And so I just jumped right back in, expecting that, okay, I made a mistake, that's okay, but I still like this signal for the market to push up. And so I want to jump back in and let this market play out, and hopefully we can get a good move back to the highs here and get a nice swing. And so once the market then starts to punch higher, I'm going to now go to break even because we do have this downtrend right here. Maybe the market's going to respect that and punch lower. And so again, I want to get out if it does that because that's showing that it's in a downtrend. But you can see here, we had a nice low pullback. And so I'm going to move my stop below this and potentially, see if the market keeps going higher. And just skipping forwards a little bit here, the market is still really kind of chopping around, and it's not a great signal when it bounces off of here. And so I'm going to actually move my stop up below this low right here, and it's going to knock us out. And that's okay. We're up about $200 on the trade, and that's okay. The market's been pretty choppy lately, and I'm totally okay taking wins, even if they're about 1x. And I usually like to go for around 3x, but the market's just going to give what it's going to give you. Now here is another good trade. We have our resistance level up here. You can see the market's bounced up in this area quite a few times. And so I like that the market came up here, made a sell-off of that area. We have actually a downwards trend line here. It produced this really nice big bear bar here. And so I like to get in on that. I actually would have preferred to get in right here, which would have been a little better price. But the market sometimes moves quickly and you can't get in perfectly. But the main thing is to still get in when you can. Of course, if it was down here, I wouldn't want to get in. That's definitely chasing. But at this point, we're in a good trade and it's moving in our favor. My stop is up here initially because if the market comes up here, bounces around and starts to do some kind of bull flag and pushes higher, I definitely want to get out. But I can bet that the market's probably going to at least punch down to these lows here, or maybe continue lower than that. And if we can continue this overall downtrend here and maybe accelerate it, we can get a really nice swing trade in our favor. And so once this downtrend is starting to appear here, I like to go with that as my trailing stop and move with the swings, of course. And so I'm going to move my stop down here to cover my small win so far if it does that. And at that point, when you have a nice established downtrend, you just want to let things play out and let the market move with that downtrend. If it breaks that and goes against you, it can be frustrating, but you just got to let things play out. And so my plan with this trade is just to hold it until it breaks this downtrend. And that's how you want to manage your trade. You want to have a plan of when you get in and when you get out. We're having a bit of a pullback right to this level, and I want to move my stop down to that because we are at the lows here, this support level. We totally could find support here. I don't want to try and hope that it breaks that. I just want to go with, okay, we might break this and this is a good spot. And so we do get knocked out of that trade at that lows, and you can see that was a really good spot to get knocked out. We were up about $200, and then the market just ripped higher. And so it was really good to get out there, because once the market then ripped higher, we can look to take a trade. We have a nice breakout here. It looks like it's failed back in. The market made that double test that I like. And so I like to get in on this big red bar right here. That's just a signal that, hey, the market's had a little initial sell-off, it's come back, and then it's selling off again. And so I want to get in short on that. And we have a start of a downtrend here, and I kind of like that. Because we have a really fast move up here, we have the chance to bring that up. So an initial target would be down here, I would say, because it would give up this really fast move. Now, a big key when it comes to trading is not every trade is going to work out. I like to let my winners have the potential to run and make big profits, and I like to cut my losses quickly when I think I'm wrong. And so that allows me to be only right maybe 50% of the time, but still be profitable in the long run, and that is the goal with trading.